you might remember, I remember the moment that Kailani walked through those doors sometime over a year ago, and something shifted. It's like, ooh-wee. And I still feel that. Even every time Kailani walks through that door, she brings so much love and so much passion and so much joy and so much inspiration that it's you can just feel it. And so we were talking a couple weeks ago, and I said, she was sharing some passion with me, and I said, Kailani, I'd like you to share this with our community. And so she said, yes. And I said, how about a week after next? And she said, yes. And what's so funny, Kailani always says yes. So let's give Kailani a big hand. Here's Kailani Jackson.
Woohoo! Yes. It's so wonderful to see all of you first. Let me say that. Namaste to you. I see your presence. I feel your presence. It's amazing to me. The last time I talked, do I need to come closer? Okay. Better? All right. Mike keeps me together when it comes to these audio things, but I want you to know I feel your love. I see you. I see you. And that's what makes me show up and say yes. And I hope by the time I finish this talk today, that same inspiration, if it's not already yours, will become yours because you can grab it. That song, Draw Me Close, a lot of people think that the reference is to the divine, to God. You know, I want to feel closer to you. And the divine is already in us. It is us. So yes, that is to the divine. But I'm hoping also you'll be able to say that to yourself. I want myself to draw me closer. And then be able to say that to people in your community, as well as people that you are in Anam Cara with. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that as I get into it. But I wanted to say thank you to all of you. Now, Reverend Blaine thinks, let me just say that, Reverend Blaine thinks that I can operate this little thing right here. You guys know the last time I had Mike Rosby's little thing and I just clicked it and had to celebrate every time I got it right. So you all be patient with me. I'm proficient in a lot of things. Those of you that know me know technology is not one of them. But I'm learning. I might have you to click for me. I need a click person I can point to. You'll do that? Come on, that's my K Aloha, my love. Yeah, she'll click for me, so I'll just point to you when I'm ready for a click. Is that all right with you all? All right, that'll help me to better concentrate, not be focused on the click. All right, so let's get started. We're going to do our first click. So today my talk is inspired by my Irish roots. Those of you that know me, that I've talked to you about my DNA, I am the United Nations. There are about 10 things flowing around inside this vessel. So today I'm drawing on my Irish side. And Speaking from a book that was life-changing for me, this is John O'Donohue, who is, I say is, even though he's not present in this dimension, he still is, right? He was an Irish mystic, a philosopher, a poet, and he was also a Catholic priest for 19 years. And one of the amazing things about him is that he loved helping people transition from this life to the next. When that was something that he was just passionate about doing, being present as a soul was making its journey. And so not too long before he transitioned, he actually transitioned 2 days before, after his 52nd birthday. And not too long before that, he said he felt like time was like sand sifting through his hands. It was passing by so quickly, right? Have you ever felt like that? That time, it's just moving. And so it gives us that urgency of presence. And so his book, Anam Cara, as I talk to you about it today and break down what the essence of an anacaram is, we're going to do it 3 different ways. And so he was just an incredible person. This book was given to me by one of my anacarams. Her name is Carolyn. Is Carolyn. She's no longer present on this earth either, but she is, right? And she was a vehicle that I brought into my life to help me transition from my box of Christianity. Does anyone kind of relate to what I'm talking about? You know my story, so you kind of know. So she was one that introduced me to so many different viewpoints and ways of looking at the world. And so this book, Anacaram, was life-changing to me and came up as I was preparing this talk. Okay. There's my Aloha. Thank you so much, baby. You're precious. All right. And so on this stone, it talks a little bit about what an anacaram is. And anam is the Gaelic word for soul, and cara is the word for friend. And it originally referred in the Irish tradition to someone who was a confessor, that you went to like a priest. You told those hidden things that you wouldn't want to tell anyone else, those things that you kept, close. And so that originally was what it was. But it broadened itself in their culture to include people being that to people. And so this stone says, soul friend, to you I can open my heart and share my innermost self. I can trust you to accept me for who I truly am. As we awaken to our inner light and beauty, our souls flow together as one. And so that's the essence of what an anacaram is. It's an act of recognition and belonging. It's a place where we come together with ourselves, with others, with our community, and we show up. It's not a casual friendship. You have a casual friend that you say hi and bye to and happy birthday and like their stuff on Facebook. That's not an anacaram. And you've had many anacarams. As we go through this journey, you'll begin to identify people who have been your anacaram. And I'm hoping that will open you up to a new level of intimacy and belonging and realization of why you are that for each other. It is a place in your anacaram where you are understood, and you're understood without a mask or pretension. Your anacaram can see the worst in you and still see the best in you. They can hear you tell them the most heinous, horrible things and not sit in judgment of you, recognizing that this is the relationship, that we all need a place of belonging. We need a place where we can be authentically ourselves in this journey that we're making, right? We know we're divine. We'll talk about that. We know we're soul. We know we have a body. But sometimes we just need someone that can hear us. One of my professors, Dr. Joy, I was having a conversation with her, and she said to me, even if you don't say a word, and we're on Zoom, even if you don't say a word, you have a ministry of presence. People have said a lot of things about me and have identified that in different ways, but that was the first time I heard it that way. And she said, I don't know how you got it, but it is a precious gift because people feel like they're seen when they're in your presence. And that is what an Anam Cara does for you. They let you know you're seen. Because people think the greatest thing that we can give to someone is love. Yeah, that's a good, and it is. But the most important thing that I have come to realize that people want most is acceptance, a place to be seen and belong, no matter what their condition, no matter what their situation, that you see them completely. That's what an Anam Cara does. And as you are seen as you really are, it gives you a place to be understood. And that understanding lets you know you're home. Does that make sense? It lets you know you are home. You don't have to worry. And that belonging is something that transforms our life. Okay? So my talk is called A Committed Love Affair. And I know most of us in this room probably have had a love affair or two. And when we first envision a love affair, it sort of looks like this, right? It can, and with the Anam Cara, it can be between children or partners, lovers, friends, family members can be the Anam Cara. And so when we get in a relationship with someone, how many of you expect it to be happy and nice? Anybody? You don't want challenges. Nope. We need to hear the music playing in the background as we dance and do all of those amazing things. But not always so, right? Sometimes our love affairs can be contentious. Yeah. Now, go back one more. Thank you. Can be contentious, can be challenging, can be full of disagreements, can be places where we don't want to give up our right to be right? And so an Anam Cara experiences this also. When you're Anam Cara with someone, you're not going to always, have it easy. Sometimes there will be times when confrontation is needed. Yeah, and it's difficult. But still in that moment, you're still being present with them, seeing their very best, and talking about a few things. All right. Next. So, me, myself, and I, we're going to start off talking about being an Anam Cara to yourself. Many times, depending on how you were raised, if you were raised feeling loved and worthy, you have a great foundation of loving yourself. But if you had challenges as you were growing up, if you've had trauma as you were growing up, if you had critical people around you and didn't know how to feel your own sense of worth and value, you have to learn to be your own Anam Cara. You have to learn to love yourself, because it's hard to show up for other people if you don't fully show up for yourself. It's hard to love other people if you don't love yourself. I'm reminded of this interview that I saw with Michelle Obama, and she and Barack, midway through their marriage, were having some difficulties, and she wasn't happy. And so she told him, we're going to go see a therapist so they can get you together. And she said when she was in the presence of the therapist, she said that and relayed it in Michelle form, right? And Barack was just looking. And the the therapist said, so let me get this straight. You're trying to make him responsible for your happiness. You're trying to make him love you more. That's not his job. That's your job. So that's why we talk about this, because it's hard to be in a committed affair with people if we don't know how to love and value ourselves. So this me, myself, and I, why this is significant to me is many years ago I saw this statement, and I kind of break it down maybe a little different than most people when they see it. They think they're talking about one entity, and I see that too. But the me, to me, represents the body, that thing that walks through the door that shows up, you know? The myself represents the soul part of us that has our mind and our intellect and our memories and our experiences. But the I part of us is who we really are. That's our divine self. That's the self before we came to this planet that existed. And that's the self that will still be us when we transition back into energy. So a lot of times that thing in the middle, that myself, that's where we have the problem, because that's where the memories are. That's where our childhood experiences, that's where the person that betrayed us, we were feeling all love and warm, and boom, we got hit with something ugly, and all of those things are housed in there. So it makes it hard to really learn and fully love ourselves. So we're going to look at that. Next one. Thank you. Now, this picture right here, Reverend Blaine liked this picture. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but it's a person hugging and loving on themselves through the mirror. This is so important. First, learning to be an Anam Cara to yourself. And let me just tell you that this whole process can be done no matter what stage of life you're in. I did not fully learn how to do this part to probably the beginning part of learning it maybe 8 years ago. So not a long time. And you all that know me know I'm 63. So you could do this at any stage. My greatest and highest Anam Cara was my husband, Mark. Love of my life. It changed me inside out. He would look at me many times, just stare at me. I'm like, what are you looking at? Stop. He said the most beautiful thing in the world. And I would go, do you see? And at this time, I was about 100 pounds heavier than I am now. I'm saying, do you see all this fat? Do you see this ugly person? How are you saying that I'm the most beautiful? He said, I see you. I see you, and you are magnificent. He made me, I say made, I was willing, but he taught me how to sit in front of a mirror and say, I love you. The first time I did it, I looked at the person there and I said, girl, ain't a thing worthy about being loved in you. Right? Because my childhood had taught me so much about me, my experiences, the things that were done to me. If I was loved and worthy, how could that have happened? So it kind of changed me. But he would not let me, no, go back to the mirror. And I actually sat in the mirror probably 3 months before one day it just clicked. And I said, I see you. And so it was a journey for me. And it can be a journey for you as well. But you can get there. You can do it. Now, today, oh my goodness, I don't need a mirror. Man, I love me. I am my best Anam Cara. I hold me. Do I chastise me when I need it? Yeah. But I do it so lovingly. I'm like, girl, listen, we need to have a talk. But even after we have this talk, I want you to know that you are the best thing ever. Yes. That's how we do when we are our own Anam Cara. So we're going to quickly go through 3 things that will help us be an Anam Cara. And this little plaque stone there says, there is a place in you where you have never been wounded, where there's a seamlessness in you, and where there is a confidence and tranquility in you. John O'Donohue said that. There's a place in you that has never been wounded. That's the place that we are at home. And that's the thing that we're getting the mind to line up with and realize. That you've never been wounded. You might have had wounding experiences, but the divine that is you is untouchable. It's perfect. It's perfection. It is the real you. And it will never leave you. It is who you are. So 3 ways that we can be an Anam Cara. Number 1, practice loving yourself. And I say practice because if you don't know how to do it, you have to get in the mirror, like I did, and keep saying it until the revelation comes to you. And it will. So practice loving yourself. And that can show up in all different kind of ways for all different kind of people. Loving yourself may be going and sitting by the beach, or getting a manicure and pedi, or getting your back rubbed, or just sitting with a candle lit. However that shows up, you know it, but it's practicing loving yourself. And that's one of your sacred duties. Because you can't love anybody else until you love yourself. If you try it, how many of you have ever tried it? Come on, let's be honest. I've tried loving everybody, giving them the best. And you know what? It always comes back empty. There's something that is left undone. And that person feels it too. They know it. So we need to do that. Okay, next thing is be honest and forgiving. That's so important because as we're journeying through, we are the I part, but that myself, that soul part, where has the emotions and the intellect and the challenges and experiences and heartbreaks and joys, memories, all that stuff. I call it a soul hotel. That's one of my books eventually that's coming out. But that's a soul hotel. And we just walk in the lobby most of the time. The lobby looks wonderful. But man, those rooms, each one of those memories, each one of those traumas, not the whole string of traumas, each trauma that ever happened has its own room. And if we're not sending a maid in there, us, to clean that up, it's having an impact. You may not even be conscious, but the people you choose to be in relationship with, the jobs you choose, where you live, all of that is influenced by that myself part. So we need to get honest with that and say this is what it is and be forgiving of the places where we have fallen short. It's okay. Number 3, we need to remember that we are the God stuff. We are divine. Yeah, we may show up and do ugly things. We may play certain roles. I've played many roles in my life. I played them so well, I was like Denzel in Training Day. Or Robert De Niro. That's one of my favorites. I played it so good, right? that this was who I was. No, those are roles. Who I am is divine. It's limitless. It's timeless. It's nothingness, and it's everything. That's you. That's me. All right. Now, this image here is called the Mo Anam Cara. And in the Irish tradition, if you look at that, you absolutely see two heads, right? Can you see the two heads? But you see one face too, don't you? Right? And so what's so amazing about this is that John O'Donohue says that we have never seen our own face. We've seen an image in a mirror, and we think that's us. But the mirror is not always accurate. That's what he said. When he said that, I was like, that's kind of profound. But we can't even see our face. And I thought about something, and I'm just going to go here real quick, if it offends your gender sensibilities. But I think whoever created this humanoid, as John calls these humanoids, I think it was a man. And he made this creation and how it formed and made its eyes to go out. And the female sensibility of it came and said, no, wait a minute. You did something wrong. The eyes only look out. They can't see in. And the masculine said, well, it's just too late. It's too late. I'm not creating it. I'll make an Anam Cara. And that's how the Anam Cara got here. It is the ability to have someone that sees your face. Not this external face, but the all face of you, right? Think about that. Isn't that kind of powerful? That someone outside of you can truly see you and help you process in becoming the best version of your human self, but operating in the fullness of your divine self, right? That's what an Anam Cara is. So, of course, as I said, that being in an Anam Cara is a committed love affair. And this is about how you can be a better, more committed Anam Cara to the person who is your Anam Cara. And you've had many Anam Caras. And listen, you can be in an Anam Cara relationship and be unfaithful. Mm-hmm. You cannot be committed. Mm-hmm. I've had a few Anam Caras. I brought them into my life and they brought me into theirs, but I wasn't faithful with the process because that I wasn't aware or knowing or understanding, that I had a part to play, that they had a part to play, that we were going to challenge each other. And sometimes it wasn't going to feel good. Sometimes it was going to be awkward. Sometimes they were going to say things to me and I felt judged by them, And so I was very good at shutting people off. Anybody else ever been like that? That when you cut a person off, they're cut. They can't, you have welded the door shut. They're not ever getting back in. I've still got some things like that. I'm still working on that. I don't do it today, but I've done it in my past. And it's an ugly thing. It really is. Okay. So let me read this little part. Thank you, notes. Being an Anam Cara requires a purposeful presence. It asks that we show up with absolute integrity of intention. That interior intentionality, that's what O'Donohue says, that it sets you apart from regular acquaintances. So you have Anam Caras present in your life. Go to this next one. And it says, your noble friend will not accept pretension, but will gently and very firmly confront you with your own blindness. Such friendship is creative and critical. It is willing to negotiate awkward and uneven territories of contradiction and woundedness. That's what John said. That's a wow, isn't it? But the reason you're in each other's lives is to make each other better, to see each other, to fully be committed. So I'm hoping, as I constantly do checklists to find out, am I showing up for my anacarms? When they need to talk, am I available? When they tell me things that have gone on, can I be non-judgmental, but critical at the same time if I need to help them see things that they may not be seeing? And that's what that relationship is about. And guess what? It makes us better. It's hard to get there because if we've ever had relationships where our heart has been broken or we've been betrayed, man, we can build the highest, thickest walls. Anybody ever done that? You don't have to confess. I'll confess for myself. I build them high and deep. And so it's hard for anybody else to get into that place, right? When someone else comes that could be revolutionary in our life, man, it's hard for them to get through because the first thing we're doing is asking, I see you. It looks good. Okay, feels good. But I know you're going to hurt me. And so what do? We shut them down even before we have an opportunity to experience the Anam Cara. I have anacarms in this room. And I try to always, when I am called, show up. And there are times when I'm calling you and you show up. Are we showing up for each other? Are we? Are we being present? When we walk through the doors of this church, of this sanctuary, of this spiritual center, there are people in here that are your anacarms that you have never met prior to walking in. They're here. You called them for it. I got a new one right back there. That I'm pointing my finger to him. I'm not going to say his name out loud. Because I said I wanted to get some things together. And he came in and said, you really mean that? I was like, yeah. He threw everything out of my house and put me on a juicing program, got me at the gym. Man, this been 2 weeks ago. I feel like a new person. Just challenged my mind, challenged my old excuses, challenged all of that. I brought him in. He came for other reasons too. You guys we can share it. But that's what I'm saying. When you walk through the door, your anacarm may be in here. Do you walk by your anacarm and not say hi? If that's their first time here. Do you just walk in and not acknowledge them? That may be the very thing you sent to help transform your life, and you won't even acknowledge them. In your community or other places where you are, same thing can happen. If you're in that place of not loving yourself, and if you're in that place of comfortability behind your walls, if you're there, nothing can get in, and you've called it to yourself. So, 3 ways we can be an anacarm to others. Show up in all seasons, not when things are good. You know, a lot of us like that. We're what my mom used to call fair weather friends. If everything is going good, we're there for you. You want to throw a party? Let's do it. Woohoo! But I'm getting divorced. My heart is broken. My son's going to prison. I have a family member that's dying. I don't have enough money to pay my rent this month. I don't have any food. We're like, look, in the church, we used to do this thing when we wanted to leave. We'd walk through the church with our finger up. Some of you weren't raised in black church, so you don't know what I'm talking about. But when they're ready to leave, they lift that little finger up and walk through as if that's permission from God. God, you see this? I'm leaving. And that's how we do some of our anacarms. But to be a true anacarm, you have to be there in all seasons. If they need food today, they don't have it. What do? What if you only have one meal? Cut it in half. We show up in all seasons. Number 2, we're faithful and committed. Man, that is such an important gift, to be faithful. How many of you have ever been in a love relationship, of affair, or whatever, and you were either not faithful or they weren't faithful? You don't have to raise your hand. It's a rhetorical question. Don't feel good, right? You don't want to be faithful at times, but you must. It's not about them. It's about who? About you. Showing up, being committed. I can probably count on one hand. I've actually been here. I came in May of 2019. So I've been here a little over 2 years. I'm talking about Unity. And I could probably count on just one hand. I might need one finger from over here. The times that I've missed being here hasn't been a lot. Now, I would love to lay in my bed on Sunday morning. I've got 6 classes. I volunteer at 2 different community places. I show up for family and friends. Sometimes I could say, whew, time to just cut out, not go. But I don't. Why? Because I'm committed. I'm faithful. When I don't feel like it, yep. Because this is my anacarm. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But think about that. Be faithful. Be committed. I'm here for you in all seasons. And the third thing, remember that they are divine stuff. Yeah, you're looking at the body and the actions and behavior. But remember, they are divine. And this quote of Gandhi is so important to me. It says, the best way to find yourself, to find who? To find a mate. To find a friend. Find a companion. Find money. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Wow. So we're going to talk about being an anakaram to your community. Thank you. So we have already discovered we need to be an anakaram to ourselves, as John so eloquently described, and we need to be an anakaram to other people. But guess what? We're an anakaram to our community as a whole. Because it's no accident that you live where you live. You designed that. You created that. And when you said, I'm coming to this place to live or that city to live, you took on everything that's involved in that community. So it's you. That's a reflection. That's you. Your community. What's going on in your community? How can you show up? How can you show up as light and help? Right? So we are called to be an anakaram to our community. That may look like, I got a picture of a teacher over there. It may mean showing up at a school and asking, how can I volunteer? Where can I help to make the lives of the children better? It may be going to feed the homeless, or preparing meals for the homeless, or giving money to places like Maui Food Bank that feed people. But that's your community. And so being an anakaram in your community means that you're present, you're faithful, you're committed, you find ways to volunteer, You find ways to give. Gandhi said, we will find ourselves as we give service. So if you're looking for you, the best way to do that is to do community service. Find ways to give service. And I've got Unity on Maui in the middle of that because those of you who are members here, including me, that means that we've committed to be faithful and loyal to our spiritual center. That means we show up in all different kinds of ways. And we come, as I tell Reverend Blaine, I come with my eyes, my hands, my heart, and my mind, what you need me to do, right? And some of you may not be able to do that, and that's fine. But there are other ways that you can be of service to the church, to your spiritual center, right? I need to go to my next slide. Thank you. You can recognize that you are a committed member, that you are needed, that you are loved, that you are wanted, that when you walk, every last one of you that walked in today, I felt you, and you know what it made me feel? Love. As I'm looking out at you, what does it make me feel? A place of belonging. I'm home. You make me home. You make me know I'm home. And if you're not here, something goes missing in our relationship as an anacaram with this spiritual center. So it's important that we show up. Yeah, we recognize COVID and we recognize all of these other things, but let us not use that as an excuse not to be present. You know, even if you have to sit outside, we still want to see you. Reverend Blaine does such eloquent talks and messages that are funny, insightful, penetrating. But if he's teaching to an empty room, that feels some kind of way. Are you guys feeling me? That feels some kind of way. So as we show up, it lets us know we're home. It lets us know someone has left the light on, as they used to say, right? And it's important. So 3 ways that we can be an anakaram to our spiritual center or church is to be generous with our gifts, right? And the gifts don't just mean financially. They do include that. But it means all of your gifts. We may not be able to give equally. Some give more monetary than others, but we can all give passionately. You know what I mean? That there's passion attached to whatever I'm showing up to use my gift, you know, and just be involved in making this the best spiritual center that it can be on island. Does that make sense? All right. Second thing, show up and serve. You know, we don't want to be Secret Service anacarms, right? Hiding out in protective custody anacarms, right? We want to show up. Yeah. And third thing, we want to be the light. The God stuff is here, and we're all merging it together. Do you all feel that? That synergy of all of us being here, even those of you who are watching. We feel that synergy. That as we come, we remember that we are God stuff. All right. I think yes, my last slide. Thank you all for listening to me. So my last slide says, the one you love, your anakara, your soul friend, is the truest mirror to reflect your soul. That's what John said. And so as we think about that, as we are anakaram to ourselves and to other people and to our community, that we get to see ourselves in the truest mirror of who we are. And it allows us to make course corrections. It allows us to expand. It allows us to become bigger and more of who we are.
Why don't we speak these words together that are John O'Donohue's? Let's say them together. May I live this day compassionate of heart, clear in word, gracious in awareness, courageous in thought, generous in love. And I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. As you breathe in, to bring your awareness to that place of love, to that place of spirit, to that place where your mind and your soul and your heart meet. And breathe into that place. And as you breathe, to relax. And I invite you into that place that Kailani talked about today. Into your own Anam Cara. Into that place where the truest part of you exists. Into that place that is only love. A place that can never be hurt. Never be sad or ashamed or afraid. To breathe into that place. And let the love and the waves of this place touch every bit of you. Your mind, your thoughts, your words, your joy. Breathing in and breathing out. And let's go to that place for a few moments in the silence. Remember this feeling. Remember the truth of who you are. Remember to love yourself, to be your best friend, And as you take the light from within and glance about, remember, that's what friends are for. And as you breathe in and bring your awareness back to this moment, let's acknowledge, Kailani, would you stand up again? Let's give Kailani wow. I invite you at this time to prepare your tithes and your love offerings, your gifts to Unity on Maui. And as you prepare your gifts and hold them, oh yeah, I forget that I have to hold this thing up. we've had some challenges with the microphone that I typically wear on my head, so we get to use this one today. So as you prepare your gifts, I invite you to consider your own Anam Cara and what that means to you. And how will that look for you 5 minutes from now, this afternoon, tomorrow? And I invite you to, as you give to us today, and we're so grateful for your gifts, to let this be a deposit on your own commitment to express your Anam Cara in everything you do, all the ways that you show up in your life, in your family, here at Unity on Maui. So as we hold our gifts, let's pray and affirm our affirmation for prosperity, which begins, through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. And so it is. Well, many of us lost a dear friend this week. And life is different. It reminds me how fragile life is. And to think that John O'Donohue passed in his 50s, and he referred to life as, like the sand, how quickly sand goes through our hands. And we just, oh, it's hard. So next week, we're going to do 3 services as a tribute to our friend, our brother, Adisa Omar. And the 3 services will happen at 9, at 11, and at 1:30 in the p.m. And they will be by reservation only. No one will be admitted that doesn't have a reservation. We are honoring the safety of all of us by requiring masks and social and safe distancing. And it'll be a joyful time. I'm talking to Janae after the service today, and we're going to talk about what we're going to include in our 3 services next Sunday, and perhaps in some other events that may show up in the next few weeks. But we're looking to really honor and pay tribute to Adisa Omar, who touched so many of our lives. So, and you can make reservations today. Those of you watching on Facebook, you can call Emily Goss at 808-268-8310 and make your reservations. And for those of you who are here in the sanctuary today, you can sign up today. We're looking at 3 services, 25 people each. And so I am expecting that that it will fill up quickly. So please make your reservations early. And we're going to give some love to the King of Love. And I think I covered everything about that. Yeah, great. Oh, and one of the things that Omar famously said from right here on a Sunday morning is, have you ever danced with Spirit? And he danced with Spirit every Sunday he was up here. And I know in some way he's dancing with Spirit right now. So thank you, Adisa Omar. And let's see. Oh, we're having a Halloween bash on Zoom on Sunday. A week from Sunday is Halloween, October 31st. And we'll have a Zoom call. And I invite you to... This morning, Kurt was doing a rendition of the Monster Mash. Can you play a few licks of that and just let? Do you think we could twist his arm enough? I don't know. All right, maybe after the service he'll do it. Come up and give him a little bit of love or whatever it might take. I know he's bribable. So thank you. And so this will be a lot of fun. I'll put out the Zoom link this week in the newsletter. It'll be happening on 7 o'clock on Sunday, October 31st. It'll be fun. You can wear your own costume or come as somebody else. Yeah. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. We had some fun with it last year, and we'll come with a couple Halloween jokes or a story or whatever it is that you'd like to show up and share your love and your light on the day of darkness. These wonderful flowers that are up here, Emily brought this morning at the last minute. She went through our yard and put this bouquet together so that we'd have some flowers on Sunday morning. And and you can do the same. You can see what a beautiful gift they are, and people watching us on Facebook and all over the world. God only knows how many people are watching today. In fact, God doesn't even know, but we won't tell God. Of course, God doesn't take offense anyway. Yeah, I know. Kurt's like, just move on, Rev, just move on. So anyway, if you'd like to bring flowers in the future, there's a sign-up sheet on the table by the door, and it'd be great. You can sign up to bring flowers and then write down who you'd like to dedicate them to, and it honors us and you and your loved one as well. All right, and come join our community. I'm offering a membership class when I can get it all together, and I know there's a couple of people here today who have showed interest in that. And so if you're interested, give me a call, and we'll find a date and have a class, and you can be a part of this Anam Cara, this community of unity, this spiritual center on Maui, which is here to support you on your spiritual journey with our love and the truth that we share. And thank you for being a part of it. All right, and if you're a member of Unity on Maui, thank you very much. And you'll need to renew your membership as you do every year. And if you're watching us on Facebook, just send us an email and tell us that you want to renew your membership and give us your updated information. And also, for those of you who are here, there's a sign up, or there's some sheets on the table in the back that you can fill out to renew your membership. Thank you for being a member and showing your commitment to yourself and to our amazing spiritual community. So, without any further ado, and without doing anything further, I invite you to stand, and let's end our service in our traditional way by affirming and praying the prayer for protection together. Let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is. God bless you, friend. Mahalo, and see you soon. Where I live, there are rain.